guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be working on my sketchbook. It is indeed Monday, which means that we're probably going to fill another spread, and I have a very particular plan. So kind of similar to last week, I have already prepared my sketch because we are going to be technically doing a little bit of painting, and this is why my camera's kind of far away right now. I have a sketch. Ooh, it's so sunny today that we cannot see. Let's try it a little bit better. Also, the sun's like glaring into my room. I want to do kind of like, I think this was kind of low-key a meme drawing template going around at the time. So this is based off of the manga and I guess now anime of Go For It Nakamura-kun. I forget the Japanese title, but basically that's the English title, and I think a lot of people were drawing like their favorite ships kind of in this format. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, why is Kaisen in the middle and why do we have Masaki, my other OC, on the side? So this is based off of my crackship island on my Tomodachi life, because Kaisen is an absolute mess in my Tomodachi life. But I don't remember, or I guess it's not that I don't remember. At this point of like when I'm filming this, I have technically not filmed the comic making process, and I feel like if I talk too much about what's going on here for that video, it might spoil the results. So I'm gonna see when that video will be able to come out. It probably will come out after this one. I just don't know if it's gonna be within the same week. But let me talk through what we're gonna be doing today. So in general, today is going to be a longer sketchbook session, so feel free to grab supplies if you want to draw along, put this in the background as some company or whatever, or feel free to relax, whatever you want to do. But this will be a longer drawing session. It's not going to be one of the quicker ones with a time lapse or anything, or like a voiceover. So I mentioned earlier that I did end up already doing the sketch because I wanted to take my time sketching, but there is a problem. So I sketched in a way where things are still kind of like, you know, sketchy and messy, because I was planning on doing another inking session, because I have this drawing. We're gonna cover that. This drawing of Kaisen, because like I said, he's kind of a mess on my island. So I wanted to practice some inking again, and when I do that, I sketch kind of messy because I allow myself a little bit more freedom in terms of like sketching what I want with the pen, or inking what I want, I guess. But after looking at the cover again for Go For It Nakamura-kun's kind of like manga cover, what the template for this like drawing meme was based off of, I really like the colors and how like vibrant they are. So I was debating on what medium we could use today to do the coloring portion. Now, you guys can probably tell by the title of the video that we are probably going to be doing something with like acrylic markers, acrylic gel pen. So that is what we're going to be doing. Unfortunately, it does mean that we might run into a situation where my sketches might get lost. And I'm a little bit scared because I feel like I'm very poor with line work when it comes to thicker drawing materials. I guess ink is okay, pencil is obviously okay for me, and digital is like a whole other problem in of its own. But if I'm doing like acrylic markers or acrylic gel pens, let's just hope for the best. My goal is to have mostly the bigger chunks, so maybe parts of like Kaisen's outfit, the text and the background color I want to do with like acrylic markers. Now I have Ohuhu Waikiki markers for that, if they have the right colors, because I feel like they have pretty good coverage, and I always like the ones that have more of like activated ink flow. Or we could use the Arrtx ones, which are the liquid ink. So we're gonna see which ones match the colors to the vibe that I want. I do want to match the actual cover. Now, the funny thing is that I know you guys probably can't see it. I was planning on doing the sketch this way, only on one spread, but it would have been like super tiny, which technically would have benefited me a little bit if I was planning on only using the acrylic pens or the acrylic gel pens, which are these ones. So this was kind of like my initial idea after I decided that I want to add color, because my other plan was to do black and white and do more of like manga style inking. So I was going to use probably my gray Copic markers, fill in the majority of our flats in our grays or in our mid-tone areas, and do black inking on top. I don't know, something about color I think speaks to me right now. This is close to where I did the low-end piece from last week, and I've been really enjoying having the colors, so we're gonna try to go for something bold. So in this scenario, I think it was in my other Tomodachi life video I talked about where Kaisen on my crackship island specifically seems very much like Nakamura from this series, and his love interest on my island is Masaki. And at this point, for some reason, Masaki's personality in the game does give me a little bit more of like Hirose kind of vibes in general, but also color-wise it kind of fits. Nakamura has like black hair similar to Kaisen. Masaki kind of has like chestnut kind of brown hair similar to the softer color that similar color to what Hirose has. So I feel like it just fits kind of aesthetically. We're also gonna use some binder clips. And we're gonna look at our swatches. So this one's from the Arrtx set. And they're pretty bright. And then I have the other ones in this box. So I've used these ones a little bit more recently. I feel like this is like the perfect pink maybe. Because it's kind of like highlighter-y yellow. So it's like in between this color and this greenish kind of color, which I don't know if I have anything that's similar enough. So I keep all my swatches in here. It's a little bit easier for me to see. I find that most like acrylic markers especially have very similar color palettes. Ooh, wait. 90 colors, Arrtx Acrylic Markers. This one actually might work. This is very highlighter-y. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find this set. What do we have? Did I label which one it is? Benzone S50. I think it's this set. To you guys, it looks like another yellow. It's a little bit more green in real life. Okay, let's do our flats first. So when I cut out like note paper for my Patreon, I have a lot of this scrap. Ooh, I definitely mixed this with the green. It looks super green right now. Oof, I don't know if I like this now. I'm gonna figure out my options here. Maybe we'll use the liquid ink set and we'll just go with this yellow. It's definitely more orangey, but I think we're gonna have to use it. We'll give it a go. I think I'm gonna use Y35, RV212, B28, I think, yes, and then we'll use B920 for our dark blue. Okay, let's see how this works. So I don't know at what part I've cut out of this video of me like selecting colors. So I don't know which part I've mentioned. But basically some of these like acrylic markers work really well on like semi-porous surfaces or even just like thicker paper. But for some reason, sometimes on this notebook paper, the acrylic markers just like really get very dry. So any of these kind of more like liquid dispensing ones, I definitely prefer. I think you guys would have saw it a little bit when I used acrylic markers for the first page of my sketchbook, which ended up drawing my OC Masaki. But my goal is to have this like very vibrant, very in-your-face pop of color. We're just got to hope that when I get to do the details as well as like inking or anything, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. But whatever it is, we'll figure it out. Because I definitely struggle using paint in general, but also just paint markers. I think there's like several ways you can definitely use it. More like cell shady kind of vibe, or if you want to do something more like painterly. I guess this would be yellow. So luckily for the bottom of this section, over here, Kaisen takes up a good portion, so we can keep her binder clip right there. I don't know if I found like the way that I like using acrylic markers per se. There's definitely some rhyme and reason of what I do for when I'm working on the, what is it called? The linen panel pieces of like usually Genshin characters. I feel like there's usually a method to what I do for those ones. This is kind of like up in the air. Because in my sketchbook, because I tend to draw smaller compared to those linen panels, it does become a little bit difficult to do smaller details. Also, I forgot to talk about, what is it called? Music. So last week, I've been listening to a lot of like Extraordinary Heroes and a lot of K-rock just in general because of them. And just like in general, like K-pop. Listening to a lot of 17 still. Listening to Plave. I went back to listening to N Flying. But also, because I want to focus today, and on my recommended, for some reason, like for reels and stuff on Instagram, I've been getting a lot of like this instrument plus just any kind of Pokemon song, but like it's more recently just like Little Root Town, which is one of my favorites because I am very much like a Gen 3 girly. And being in Little Root is like super nostalgic feeling. So that is what we are going to be listening today. Something more calming, nostalgic. I think I've seen like a saxophone cover, someone did an ocarina, someone did a piano one, which sounds so cute. The piano one, I think they did in such a way that sounds, or like the intention was to make it sound like it was fit for a wedding. I think that's why I always love like listening to piano covers. There's something about it that I feel like makes me want to cry. So for like a wedding setting, I feel like that makes sense as well. Kind of subtle, but you can see the sun's creeping in. It's been a bit of strange weather again. Not like, well, I was gonna say not snow, but according to my weather app, it said it could be snow and rain, despite it being in the positives. It better not snow. Look how bright it is outside. It's so sunny. My friend was like, oh, it's probably due to like the weather changes and stuff. It usually happens. Okay, so with the blue pretty much done, I might go back in like later on and fill in some of the patchier areas, but let's move on to our yellow. So we're just kind of like inching inwards. Oh, I guess, see, smaller details like this is what scares me with using acrylic markers. I'll give it a go. It would have been nice to do this digitally, but there's also just something fun about being able to do this traditionally. And having it in my sketchbook, I think, is just fun. So actually on the back side of this bottom page, I have sketched out very briefly about the, not exactly the dialogue, because I am following the Tomodachi life dialogue pretty much, but the scenes or how I want to lay out our situation for Masaki's love life on that island. Because all you guys know at this point is that Selwyn confessed to Masaki in my Tomodachi life, and Kaisen has stepped in during the confession, and then our kind of surprise contender, Moriko, who is only an acquaintance, I think, of Masaki, also joined in on the fun of being like, Masaki loves me the most. So we're gonna see how this goes. I should have erased more of my sketch actually, because it has pretty good coverage, but a lot of the lighter colors, some darker lines do peep through a smidge here and there. I think color-wise this is gonna be very fun. I'm just worried about what to do with the characters. So if you guys have watched Nakamura-kun, does he give you boy failure? I feel like he's such bad luck in a lot of the scenarios. But Kaisen also, I'm just like baffled by him in Tomodachi life. for reasons you'll see whenever I end up making the comic. My boy failure's son. For the next few weeks or like a month or so, I don't know how long I'm gonna do this. I still want to make more long form videos like this of like real-time drawing because I kind of want to get back into the swing of things of talking a little bit more to like while I'm drawing at the same time rather than doing just like a voiceover afterwards. So I kind of want to get back into that again. But I think earlier when I was talking about how I wanted to initially sketch out this particular piece is that I was gonna do it only as like half the spread. I was gonna do either like color swatches, extra doodles and stuff on the other side because I was more worried about not being able to do the line art properly on like a bit of a warped page. I forget the reasoning why this one's bubbling so much. It might be because like excess moisture from the gouache piece that we did last week. But sometimes like the beveling or like the bumpiness, I can't get as clean lines. Like naturally, I guess, I get a little bit more stiff that way. But it would have been nice to work smaller so that maybe I could have just used only the acrylic gel pens, like the Languo ones. Dispense more ink. I might have to go 2 passes for the yellow. Go over like this. I could have lightened that up so it didn't smudge as badly because now it's like a patch of green, which you guys can't see super clearly. But the other reason I want to do another long form video again, I want to do it like both traditionally and digitally, just whatever you guys' preferences for working. But I'm still very interested in potentially doing like a body doubling video, which I know some people do the same thing with my long form videos anyway, so I don't know how much of the format I'll change unless I go like with the Pomodoro kind of route. I don't know if the Languo pens are thin enough for the line art that I want to do. So I might have to pick something else to do the line work. We'll see. So I might put a bear here. So I'm just gonna go right over it for now. But this color scheme already makes me happy. I like the bright yellow with the blue. I think it's a very cute color combination. Because some of these like little tiny ears are like so small. I don't know how exactly I'm gonna be able to capture the small detail and hopefully make it read the way that I want it to. So I'm going over some of the areas that I can see the blue lines still and doing a second pass. And with the second pass, pretty much covers it entirely, which is nice. Some might require like a third pass, but might be okay. I'm not too picky. Like I said, it's gonna be in my sketchbook. And I feel like that's always the kind of excuse that I will give myself the pass for not making stuff look super clean. I think this template's kind of fun. Put the person who's like head over heels in the middle, and then the character that they like kind of like in the little bubbles, the star shape, the heart shape, little designs. I think is such a cute template. And I think it's just a fun watch. It's just a cute romance comedy. But I saw like stuff from the recent episode. I haven't watched it quite yet, but it's so funny. I saw the tweet and they're basically having like a freak off. Which in this case, in this scenario, it would be... I don't even remember what the new character's name is, but that would be Selwyn on my crackship island. Because technically both Kaisen and Masaki and Selwyn were kind of like in a love triangle-esque type of thing, but it's mostly Kaisen and Selwyn, I guess, pining for Masaki's love. Kaisen's definitely stressing me out the most. Okay, I can still see my text here, so didn't get rid of it completely. Let's go add in our magenta color into here as well. We don't have to be super neat about it because there is going to be some blue. But I want to make sure I have some stuff kind of covered up a little bit more. If we add black to this entire color scheme, kind of like our CMYK almost. I think the bold colors are so cute, which is like, I'm kind of glad I'm gonna be doing these in acrylic markers. It's just like, I really do need to see if I can find a way to get this to work in my favor. This would be a wild take coming from me. I think I would have felt deceptively better, I guess you could say, about doing this in gouache than I am with acrylic markers. Because at least that I can technically change up my brush sizes so that I can achieve some of the smaller details, even though like I struggle the heck with gouache. But thank you guys for liking that gouache video. I'm glad. And just in general, I think you guys just like Lowen as well. He's just a little guy, a deranged little guy. Luckily the acrylic also pretty much dries pretty quickly. So this is already like a very fun color scheme. I can't wait to add like the darker blue, because I do like contrast, and a lot of these colors are kind of like in the same value range-ish. Not like completely. I kind of wish I chose like a slightly lighter yellow, but I don't really have anything that's in that mid-range between super duper light and this particular yellow. But it definitely stands out, so I'm not like super bummed about it. Imagine if I spelled his name wrong. Embarrassing. I'm gonna have to figure out how much of the blue, the dark blue, I'll have to put in, because I don't know if it's gonna cover the pink or if I'm just gonna purely just put on the outside and just like slightly correct it for some areas. It's hard to read for you guys. Because like I said, these colors are kind of like within the same value range. So maybe I should have done this with a darker blue. It's just a little bit eye straining. Having more contrast would help with that, but I think it's already too late. I'm already committed. So then we also have, I guess it's a red. I would go with like a pinky red, because it's not like a super dark red per se. Cute to add in. I think we have stars and hearts in the background as well. I might do one more pass of the pink actually. As it dried, it's a little patchy. And then while we let this dry, I'll do the orange. And then that way we can just do the dark blue as kind of like our final touch for the background, or like at least part of the background. I still have some areas where Masaki's require some patterning. So we'll see how much I'll do and how much I think I might do with the gel pens instead. I was also debating if I was going to use alcohol markers. But alcohol markers on this paper, it's nice and bold to a certain extent, but not entirely. So I feel like still these acrylic markers work the best. I feel like with a not so... I might be looking at this wrong. No, I think it might be okay. A not so much darker blue. So I might use this one. B514. To go around the stars. Because apparently the ones with hearts have like a pink outline, which is a softer pink. So luckily I didn't go super dark with the pink that I used. So we do have one that's lighter. So we can outline our little shapes here. Hopefully in a more consistent-ish line width, which I also struggle with. Hopefully they'll leave me with a little bit more room. I'm trying to put the outline only on the outside, not the inside silhouette of the shape. Such a wonky star. Oh well. Also, just a reminder, I don't really care too much about it, but Masaki and Kaisen are not, like, canonically a romantic pairing in my story. At this point, it's still, like I said, it's up in the air, so if it goes that route, it will. Otherwise, like, they're just friends. I don't really have plans for them at the moment. Let's do our heart shape. Whoa! Put my hand right in the paint. My hands are a little bit blue from touching the page. You can definitely do this with like alcohol markers, watercolors, acrylic paint, colored pencils, or even just black and white, because that's what I was initially gonna do, and I think it still would have looked super cute. But the colors are very poppy, which I think is so fun. On my crackship island, I still have yet to add my old OCs, which I want to do as well, because I want to add a little bit more chaos. I've also added Bonbongi from like 17's mascot, like a kid on my island, because I saw someone else do it on Twitter and I thought it was such a cute design, so I'm like, oh, might as well. So I'll probably go over the outlines again once we actually commit to filling in our beloved Masaki. The other ones, it looks like polka dots. There's dash lines or just stripes. I can't tell what color the polka dots are. Will I do this digitally? I might. We'll see how much I'm committed to it, because I think it could be fun to redo it as well to make it super clean. So let me do this. Oh, I guess it is these three colors for the patterning. Some of the white areas are not going to be as clean. That's okay. From a distance, it should look okay as long as we add enough contrast. Oh, that patterning going on. You got pink stripes in the back of this one, which should be easier, even though I can't tell where Masaki starts and stops. We can figure it out, as long as I can add in, technically, the shapes afterwards if I need to kind of fix it up. So we can polka dots, which you can't really see. Kind of drew Masaki too large. Bottom one we have stripes. Oh, we have yellow in there too. So we go teal, we go purple. For some reason the purple is dispensing so much ink. We have a yellow, which I want to use a lighter yellow. Fits kind of the pastel theme a little bit more. Our pink, I think it's back to our teal. Purple. Can't tell if it's leaking. Yellow. On this one, it's also the polka dots. Honestly, can't tell. We have something. There's something going on here. Is it correct? I have no clue. That's okay. I think pattern-wise, we might be okay. I don't think there is one down for the tiniest one. At least, like, not what I could see, because, like, Nakamura kind of covers it. And he has like little taco, or like the little octopi, in like different little areas. I'm thinking, do I want to draw funny versions of the bear? It's just, how do I want to draw it? Maybe something like that. We still have orange. There's like so many areas that are not dry. I'm scared to get my sweater on it. Let me take off my sweater actually. Because I feel like acrylic paint, pretty bad to get on your clothing if you don't get it out like right away. I'm not sacrificing my sweater. Even though like, back when I was in the studio life, I would wear long sleeve like all the time. So a good portion of this text is going to be covered by, or not covered, this like excess white be covered by our darker blue color. Okay, go for it. Kind of sad that this is so hard to read. I'm gonna see if I can just draw the derpy bear. Two more to do, which I'll do in the pink color. This one doesn't really fit. Maybe I'll exclude the one at the very bottom. I didn't really think about how I'm gonna do the blush on his face though. And I think the acrylic pen should have no problem going over like acrylic marker. So I'm thinking of going ahead and maybe blocking in a good portion of our solid colors for Kaisen. Because that way I can save a little bit on the acrylic pens a little bit. We'll do like detailing and potentially like shading and shaping out Kaisen, his outfit and his hair and all that. With the other markers, pens. I want to make the edges as clean as possible because other than maybe adding inking afterwards, if I don't have to go back in, I guess. If I don't have to like actually go back in and... Where's my lid actually? Did it fall? Am I blind? Where did my lid go? Wait, how is this possible? I feel like I'm blind. Where'd the lid go? The only explanation is that it rolled away. Where'd it go? You guys don't see the lid, right? Oh my lord. I'm an idiot. I was looking for a clear lid. It was right there. What's this little hair? But I like the style of this manga. It reminds me very much like old time. Not old time, I guess like 90s maybe? Older manga kind of style. Which I think is very fun. The base of Kaisen's shirt is purple, because typically his shirt is a little bit more of like a reddish muted purple color. And then the rest of his outfit's pretty much all black. But because I want to be able to show form and hopefully the folds of his outfit, will rely a little bit more on black when we have to put those darker values in. So I'm still choosing like a somewhat dark base for Kaisen. And then we'll do the same for his shirt. And then I'll probably let things dry. We'll come back. We'll do the shadows for... As long as it's so dry. We'll do the shadows for his, like the lettering and stuff afterwards. B920 is this one. Or background blue color. We'll just have to add a lot of blue after, or black afterwards. I mostly show Kaisen as being mostly purple, so this feels a little bit off. I feel like I'm kind of regretting making all this blue. It's just the base. It's fine. I'm also thinking maybe I'll try to block in the main shadows of his outfit with one of these larger markers, and then we'll do detailing just with the acrylic gel pens. So in place of like Nakamura, because they're high schoolers, he does have his bag strap that he's gripping onto. In Kaisen's case, I would make his kind of cardigan-esque clothing look like it's slipping off, and then having him grip the edge of it, I feel like made the most sense in terms of keeping the same pose for the most part. I like using acrylic markers, it's just that I feel like my brain doesn't function this way. me longer time, I guess. Because I think eventually we typically get to a point that I'm not too disappointed in myself. Because I don't really have like a painterly bone in my body. Definitely more of a person who likes to draw rather than paint. Just gonna make it a little bit more solid feeling. Going through our second pass in a different direction. We'll fill in majority of our streakiness. He kind of looks like a burrito. Because his pants and his cardigan color is the same. Oh, and his hair. I usually make his hair lean towards more blue when I give his hair color. Do I want to lean it more blue or do I want to lean it more purple? Could lean it more towards this blue instead. We have to actually let these areas dry pretty much. We're basically gonna silhouette in his entire hair. That way I can kind of save a little bit more time as well as some of the ink for the gel pens. I also said that I might do the shadows or chunk in larger shadows with the black acrylic marker as well. It's kind of more of like a cooler purple. It does look very blue to you guys. Kind of reminds me of Gengar, but I guess Gengar is even more sometimes a pinkish purple at times too. Okay, I think it's kind of like his general hair shape. Gonna let that dry. I think everyone else is pretty dry. The funny thing is, like, some of these areas I need to add the teal color in for Masaki. Don't know if I want to add it in. But also the acrylic marker versus the other way. But I need to wait until this dries properly. I don't want to stick my hand into it accidentally. Pretty okay. Oh. Some of this smaller text is gonna be so annoying. We'll just be kind of careful. I'm realizing that all the way around the text also has like just a generic outline and I need to make everything else thicker. Or even if I can be light-handed, then it's very shaky. I feel like these are somewhat eye-straining colors. I was gonna say the Kaisen. The colors aren't super contrasted, so let's give a little bit more eye strain. And it's not even like the actual same colors as the actual cover for Nakamura-kun. I feel like that one has enough contrast that it's not so bad. So it doesn't matter if that's a very uneven and bumpy, as long as it's on the right hand side, because we need to bulk it out anyways for shadow. This one feels a little bit more drop shadowy, if anything. It's like, I feel like it's not directly just like the thickness of the letters. They're kind of like a little bit of ways, so it does feel a little bit more of a drop shadow rather than straight up thickness of the letter. I think it looks so cute so far though. Even if I screw it up at this point. Not the text. I need to lock in. I need to make sure the text isn't ruined. Even if I screw up, I think Kaisen, if I somehow find a way just to cover the face so it doesn't bother me as badly. I feel like, would it do this? I guess it would. And I'll be still happy about this one because I think right now it's looking very cute with just the colors. I think it's because I made this part too thick, so I should have chose one or the other, not both. Cute. I actually think it looks pretty good. Not too bad, hopefully. I'm happy with it. I think it looks cute so far. Kind of looks like one of those packaging for like a toy. because the colors aren't super accurate to how they have it. But we can also use, no, I think for the white, for the patterning for the background, I'll do with the gel pen. So I think that's it for these markers for now. I'm gonna switch over to our acrylic gel pens. I might zoom in for this part as well so that we can get to detailing. Spare piece of paper, kind of a scratch pad. We're using these today. Wait. So acrylic gel pens from Languo. Kind of like acrylic markers in pen form, really tiny, so that we can hopefully do some details. So we're gonna pick out a few different colors. I want to do skin first. I'm gonna do a mixture probably. What else do we have? Kaisen's hair is black, so I'll grab black as well as some of our darker colors here. So maybe the navy and this like darkish purple. This actually would have been the perfect color for his shirt. Okay, so I am going to try my best to lighten up our sketch, because at least with the gel pens, I can confidently, well, maybe not confidently, that's a big, that's probably the wrong thing to say. It's more like I can kind of like go around certain parts of my lines, which makes it a little bit easier for me to leave some areas more preserved, kind of lightening up my sketch. And if I didn't draw too hard, usually I'll pick up majority of the pigment. Otherwise, I would use like a white eraser and go over some areas to better erase some of the marks, at least like a little bit more completely. I also have a vacuum cleaner in this room, so I actually don't mind putting these on the floor. I'll just vacuum right after this session. The ends of my mechanical pencils, I can also just use those to erase in general, but I love carrying around a white eraser in the form of this because I feel like it's less bulky in my pencil case. But also I used to write so tiny. I think I write still fairly small, but not as small as I did back in my junior high school days. So having something like a stick retractable eraser was easier for me to, you know, erase maybe 1 or 2 letters without like erasing the whole entire word. Also, because this paper's not really toothy, sometimes it gets lit a little bit before it starts to get going. A salmon pink color for the shadow areas. For the skin. One, it just makes everything pop a lot more, but it is kind of like a warmer, very flushed color that I can use for the shadows with the skin tone that I chose. Because a lot of the colors that come in like acrylic marker sets, they tend to be just very vibrant, not really like earthy by any means, or muted. Because I think a lot of people like this kind of like very bold color look when you're working with something like acrylics, because you can use it in conjunction with like the color black and make things look more like pop art, I guess. So I'm actually establishing where I want the shadows to be, but this just helps because instead of having to do one full flat color with our base color, we can save a little bit of paint here, plan out our shadow colors, and then once we do the base color, we can kind of avoid our shadows afterwards. But then you're basically doing like a second pass right over your base. So if you know you're gonna have like a lot of shadows, then you might wanna do the opposite in that case, where yeah, doing your shadows would save you a lot more on the base color. Like his bangs cover more of his face than Kaisen does, so we're just gonna wing the shadows here. This is kind of how I'm doing it. So inside of the mouth, we're also gonna do pink. I think I initially was thinking his mouth wouldn't be open in the same way and would have more of his like his teeth gritting. But for the sake of the same expression as Nakamura, at least a little bit, I'm gonna follow the same thing. I don't know if I can do mixing. I hate doing blending with acrylic markers. It just doesn't really work out in my favor. Let's hope this is a good choice. Like I said, I didn't have confidence going into this, but so far so good. Like, I'm already in love with the colors of the background. I just can only hope that I don't butcher Masaki and Kaisen too much. We might have to widen out this eye a little bit. I think I cut into it too much. There's not really shadows in his eyes either, so we could add in our blue right away. An eye shine at the very end. Just make sure that these are relatively the same size. And we'll let those areas dry as we work on his hands. So when I've used like acrylic markers in the past, and I guess like more recently it would have been the cover of my sketchbook, not the cover, the first page of the sketchbook technically would have been the only time I've used acrylic gel pens or markers in this particular sketchbook. But the last time I used it would have been on like the wooden panel and the canvas linen panel. And those ones are a lot larger, so like some of the areas I could do line art with one of the sim tap markers or like one of the brush pen type ones, like the Waikiki ones I think have a brush tip if I remember correctly. But for this, I'm still debating on what I want to do for the inking. And like I said, I'm not really too bothered with the fact that there might be some blue showing underneath of like where the, what is it called? The skin is. There might be some areas I could do like a second pass. Chin area. Otherwise, we can probably add in our pink to give the blush lines. This is where like maybe I should try attempting to blend. I'm not too sure. We might just do as much of these lines as we can going across. And then I'll do one more pass of a slightly darker pink with more like spread out lines. I'm honestly at a loss a little bit for what can I do for the coloring? Coloring? What can I do for the line work? You know, like when people do like royal icing, I guess it's what it's called, and you're flooding your cookies? Kind of looks like that. When I ever have to do like an outline and I fill it right into the edges. I don't know what I called it earlier. I think I called it a drawing meme. I guess it's like more like a drawing trend, per se, with this template. So our blush lines here going across. Bit of a lighter blue. Do I have a lighter blue? Kind of avoid the nose. I feel like maybe we have to do the line work with the gel pens, but you can see like they kind of get thick. But maybe I like that look. I don't know. I like this Masaki, I think, the most, which probably means I'm probably going to butcher it the worst, because if I like it more, even if I do it slight injustice, I'm going to be like, it looks the worst out of all of these ones, because I was never really attached to them anyways. Please yell at me if I accidentally forget Masaki's mole. It's going to be hard to draw his eye on this one. I could have moved his eyes like slightly forward. His front part of his face might be jutting out a little bit too far. This one's gonna be at least a little bit more patchy. I should have maybe taken a little bit more time and erased that circle line where his face is, or his jaw. What is it called? I feel like I need to mix this marker more. Without needing to use just the gel pens for it. Let's see, how can I do this? More should have left more lighter area actually. That's fine. I'm feeling maybe we'll do the opposite. Because I didn't really plan this out super thoroughly in terms of where I wanted the lighting to be, but I feel like for cell shading, it's so important, yet I didn't plan it out. What I want to do is chunk as much of these areas that I can, and we'll go back in after if I need to pull out like some highlights or if I need to transition some of these areas to be slightly more textured or softer. We can do that. Because they have a little bit of kind of like hatching as well as like a little bit of toning. Oh, I wanted to raise it higher. So I'm gonna have to bring the blue back a little bit. So I think for the most part, like the acrylic marker with the gel pens, I think they blend nicely together. I'm glad it's not really like an issue for the gel pen to sit on top of this. I think in this sense, I'll just make this all dark. These pants have like, kind of like a stripey-ish texture. Because for Nakamura, I guess like even just the style of the anime, they kind of have like the main highlight, but then like all the way around where the hair is, they kind of have like an outline around to keep the shape, despite like everything else being pretty solidly, or not solidly, at least a little bit more of like black, just fully. Okay, I think we're okay just to fill in the rest with whatever colors we have with the gel pens. That'll probably be easier. Back on this side where it's kind of slipping off, and then I want to cover more of this area, which it might take a few passes. So while that dries, we'll add in Masaki's kind of shirt color. This looks a little bit like on the lighter side, but I think I don't mind because everything else seems very like pastel anyways. A little bit more patchy in this one with the skin. Very little of this minty turquoise color down here. Kind of matches the stripes a little bit. Which after I'll put the darker green, which means that we might be doing the line work with the gel pens. It's like I'm scared of any of these colors like actually do dry out on me as well. Or we can do our second pass with this blue. Just to get better coverage. I know I said I was gonna do the dark areas before I fill in some of the lighter areas. I feel like because Masaki, I was more worried about him looking more correct. I'm just gonna try to fill in the shapes so that I can visualize it a little bit easier. But this drawing trend's so cute. I think there's like another one, I forget what it was for, but basically it's like an animation version. I don't think, at least I don't think it was like for Go For It Nakamura-kun. It's like something else. It's basically like one person is running. I think chasing like their crush or whatever. It has like a very 90s anime feeling kind of like opening. He looks so cute on this one. Which means it's higher risk of screwing it up. Okay, this one we're gonna have to wait on, so once we actually do the line work, I'll pick probably, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't committed quite yet. So I kind of follow a similar style of leaving part of the edges more lighter. There's not really a way for me to make sure it looks a little bit softer. Kaisen! Why are you so funny? Mostly talking about the Tomodachi life one. Maybe I love making Kaisen be more like funny scenarios in general. Because like I said, he's kind of fun just to tease as a character. Because I feel like he gets annoyed or like bothered more often. I don't know what the style reminds me of. Is it like the older anime? I'm not too sure. Having it like this black, kind of like the outline of the color kind of like on the outside everywhere. Definitely has like a very particular look to it. I think it's fun just making his hair look fairly shiny. I think it looks cute. So maybe we'll use like black for everything else. I'm just scared to do the eyes. But this is what I was scared of. You know how thick the lines are? Fix the shape of it and then we'll just darken up the area a smidge. Okay, it's not the worst. Guess we could try also just making this a little less patchy. And then we'll go back in. I'm debating if I want to do the rest of Kaisen just with the black. I won't even mess with like the darker blues or anything. I might add a little bit of highlight back into the top portion of his hair with a lighter blue. We'll wait until that dries and then I'll add a little bit of the, what is it called, the yellow back in. But for now, we can try making this a little bit less crazy thick. Just a smidge. Oops, I feel like I'm picking up some of the black. Hopefully it's not reactivating too much. As I make it worse. I might have to wait until that dries, that sucks. So I'm trying to change this to be a little bit more minimal. I think this is dry. Should be okay. But I'm liking this. The contrast, like I said, helps a lot. So it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of, one, the form, but also bringing the contrast so much forward for Kaisen, which is making me think I might use the dark brown for Masaki so that he's not too forward, especially because a lot of these colors are like very light. It might read a little bit better. I just don't know if I want to do any... I mean, it kind of looks fine if I do it this way. What is it called? Harsh? I don't think I really mind if there's a little bit of almost like hatching to make it a little bit softer. It kind of gives a little bit more of that comic booky vibe. Consistent lines are my enemy. Separate this a little bit. I just have to be kind of careful with how much black I'm putting into here before I accidentally lose all form. Hopefully it's not the case. Does that work? I think so. I don't know if I want to add a little bit more here. Maybe afterwards, once I let this side dry, because I always do the stupid thing of shading and stuff to the wrong side before I can get to everything else. He looks nice. I need to bring some color out here, but because I don't want to really introduce more color per se, we're just gonna add in our that same blue color. Maybe with this side too, because I feel like this what is it called? Shape doesn't really make sense with the fabric. This complete dork. I love you, Kaisen, but you need to stop stressing me out in my game. I think his general love life shouldn't be that difficult, but I feel like he's making it harder on himself every time I open up the game. I think it doesn't help that sometimes my lines are so inconsistent, it looks so bad. No! It's okay. This is why I want to practice more like inking of form and objects, so I know how I want to do like hatching and stuff in the future. I think Kaisen he's done. maybe a little bit more lines underneath his neck. Is this a bad idea? This is what my parents, or mostly my mom, calls like the beard. She always thinks it's facial hair when I put like hatching lines under the neck. How about this dark purple? I think this is black. Where is the purple color? This is the color that I said that kind of matches like Kaisen's shirt color a little bit more, because it's more of like a muted wine, not a wine color, like a purpley muted tone. I'm so bad at describing stuff. So that way these kind of stand out, which I think makes it look a little bit cuter. Fortunate. The placement of that mouth. Line underneath the eyes, because like I said, this pen is very, or these pens are very thick. And kind of like in comparison to what I like to use for line art typically. It just worked for Kaisen well, mostly because it was darker colors. My hand keeps like, I don't know if it's because it has a glossier surface or something. It's like a little bit tacky. Oh god. The nose. Ah! No! The mouth I can salvage, because we can always add back in the pink color. The nose looked too funky. Still funky, but not the worst. That looks so funny though. This is the one that I'm worried about now. Because like I said, I like this one a lot more. So I feel like it's higher stakes for me. I might add blush afterwards, or like little blush lines. Ooh, his nose looks so large. There's nothing wrong with it, but the proportionings of, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was this one that I said his face looks like it's jutting out a little bit too much because of the placement of the eyes. But at this point, I don't know how to salvage that. I guess the angle of this is a little funky too. Jaw-wise. Just a smidge of pink, so looks more like June now. Oh well. We'll add in our blush for the areas here. We're almost done. Session's way too long. But because it is acrylic paint, we can always go back. I might get one more darker pink actually, if I have one. BG16 now. Basically it does like the back of the mouth. This might show up better, but at this point, But I think we're done. Okay, so I'm gonna clean up my desk first and then we'll come back, do the overview so I can show you guys this entire thing. I think it looks cute though. I lied. I need to do one more pass. Even if it's just a little bit. I tried taking a picture because sometimes I like taking pictures for the Patreon for an update for like anything I do in my sketchbook. And this thing where the blue is, it shows up a little bit too much. Okay, so this is the completed spread, which I think actually looks very fun. I'm kind of sad that I did it this way. So this is the front of my sketchbook, and you can see this is what the acrylic markers also look like. But you know, I wanted to make sure that his face was kind of on the smoother side of my pages, just because I thought I was gonna do inking. One thing I think I did end up not rearranging my camera properly. I did hit record, so let's see what footage I got of me doing some of the shadows for the sweat marks, because I kind of forgot, and I feel like that's part of it. It's making him super nervous. But I think it turned out really cute, like color-wise. I did wish that I had a yellow that's more yellowy green, that was not super light, but not like too competing with this blue. Like I could have went a little bit darker with the blue maybe, but then I feel like it would have threw this color combination off. So for the most part, I feel like it looks quite nice. I like the vibrancy. Maybe I should have just picked a darker color for this part. So this is inspired by Tomodachi life, because that's what this whole scenario is basically based off of in terms of personality wise. Because otherwise, I think Kaisen and Masaki are both not really, well, Masaki is kind of like this in general. He's kind of more the happy, not super happy-go-lucky per se, like not airheaded, but he's definitely more of like a happier character. Even though like I didn't mean that Hirose is like airheaded by any means, I just mean like expression wise. I feel like all of these fit Masaki quite well. Kaisen, probably not exactly like this per se. He's a little bit more, not super stoic, considering how much I do end up drawing him being teased and stuff, so he does get flustered. But I think it's just very cute, and it fits my Tomodachi life dynamic currently for both of these OCs of mine. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me work with both acrylic markers and the acrylic gel pens for today. I like the combination of them together. I might have to experiment to see what other line arting material I can use, but for the most part, if I work like large enough, I think the line width for the gel pens actually work out quite nicely. And hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much that Masaki's a little bit more like faded back, if that makes sense. I think it fits the color scheme a little bit more instead of having also the stark black for all of them, because it does push them back and Kaisen's very much forward. Even though I could have made maybe the text for this a little bit darker. But I think that is it for today. I've had a lot of fun just doing this as like a little drawing trend from a while back at least. Thank you for hanging out, guys, if you were drawing along or if you were relaxing or anything like that. I appreciate it. But I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!